Hello everyone! Welcome to your regular Thursday night entertainment. My name is Tui Lion. I am your host for this evening. I'm so glad you can join us. Now, I'm super pumped to be here with you all tonight. Thursdays are definitely becoming my favorite day of the week. I hope yours too. We have a super jam-packed show tonight, and I feel like I say that every week, but I really mean it this week. We have pro skateboarder Leo Baker coming on the show, one of the most iconic skateboarders out there today, so super excited to be chatting with him later. We've got a fruity tribute to Little Richard. Our beverage director Megan Graham is going to be blending you up a delicious cocktail on our Cheers to You segment. We, of course, have some queer quiz for you. We're going to be guessing that pride flag. I'm going to be chatting later with Paul Chavez, talking about sex. So we're going to get a little bit nasty tonight, or talk about how to be safe while we're getting nasty. We also have love to hear from you guys in the chat, so please make sure you are chatting to us. Make sure you're saying hi. I have my eyes on the chat too, so I can see what y'all are talking about, and I love to hear where you're viewing from and what you love about the show, and sending feedback in. That is always an absolute treat. Now, of course, as per usual, we are fundraising tonight for the Los Angeles LGBT Center. You can donate if you would like with the details on the bottom of your screen there. PayPal Me is a nice one-click option if you want to copy that link into your browser, or you can hit up our text to give number, or enter that other URL for the center's donation page. We're raising money tonight for the Care Fund, and now our Care Fund is our COVID-19 response fund. So all the funds raised from your donations tonight go towards supporting the center's COVID relief fund. Now that money like that, it goes towards our programs and services to support the queer community every single day. So for example, the services that I'm going to be chatting to Paul about a little bit later, providing safe sex kits and testing and things for people of the community, that money is going to help keep those programs alive. So if you can give, please give generously. Now, we also have our pet parade coming up later. We got 80s glam tonight. It's pretty rock and roll. I'm pretty excited about this one. Now, first up, we wanted to do a little bit of a throwback to Rainbowthon. Did you all have a fun time last week with Rainbowthon and Frankie Grande? Wasn't that amazing? I had such a blast. It was really so great, and Frankie did such a fantastic job. Such a wonderful supporter of the center and such a beautiful guy. So we're absolutely stoked to have him on our screen last week. We also loved all of those performances. We had such incredible musicians and performers throughout the evening. One of our favorites was the lovely Vincent. Now, Vincent is a huge supporter of the center. He's always doing stuff for us, which we're very grateful for. And I really wanted to show his performance again because it was one of my favorites. It's also an original song, and I feel like I could look into those beautiful brown eyes for the rest of my life. So without any further ado, we have Vincent for center stage performing his original song, Say.
You got that coy look on your face, like you got a choice you gotta make. End of the summer, I wonder if it's gonna escape your lips so sweet. You got a voice, so talk to me. The moment's now, so shout it out tonight. I see it shining bright in your eyes. I know you won't baby, I already know. Yeah. Tongue tied, you're gonna shine next to me. Lips tight, my Levi denim dream. You got a secret, but you don't gotta keep it. The truth will set you free. Yeah. Baby, oh, you're tied down, spill the tea. Baby, moments now, so shout it out tonight. I see it shining bright in your eyes. I know you wanna say it, baby, let it out. Let it out, 'cause baby, I already know. It's alright. I see you now, you don't need to hide. I know you wanna say it, baby, let it out. Let it out, baby, I already know. Oh, you're so afraid that you might get hurt, terrified of 3 little words. Promise, baby, that if you say it, I'll never let you go. Tonight, see it shining bright in your eyes. I know you wanna say it, baby, let it out. Let it out, baby, I already know. It's alright. I see you now, you don't need to hide. I know you wanna say it, baby, let it out. Let it out, baby, I already know.
So beautiful. What a dreamboat. Make sure you give Vincent a follow on Instagram. I popped his handle on there. It is just @Vincent. Now, he has a super exciting venture coming up. He's about to debut a brand new original song on Queer Eye. So that is very exciting as well. So congratulations to him. And just a reminder, everybody who is participating tonight is donating their time to the center. These are all people that are performing for us and chatting to us and connecting with us out of the goodness of their hearts. So if you like it, if you're having a good time, then throw us $10, throw us 20, maybe more. You've got the details on the bottom of your screen. Please donate tonight if you can. Now, next up, I'm going to be chatting to Paul Chavez for Center Focus. Now, Paul is the program manager for SHIP, which is one of our safe sex programs run through our health services. And we're going to be talking about sex, baby. So I'm super excited to have Paul on the show for Center Focused. Paul.
Hey, Tui. How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Oh, so happy to have you. Now, we're going to be talking about getting nasty, but we're going to be doing it the safe and responsible way. Of course, COVID does provide a few challenges for folks. Now, your team recently released a little campaign that I thought was really, really fantastic. And we have a few graphics that we're going to switch to throughout our chat so people at home can see them if they have not. One of the best graphics I think your team put out was talking about a lot of different helpful and handy tips to have sex safely during COVID. So we're going to pop it up, and I'd love if you could just talk us through it.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'm glad you liked it. It's actually been really effective kind of tool to use to educate folks. So the idea behind creating this campaign was really to start a conversation about harm reduction when having sex in this age of COVID that we're living in, and try to do it in a sex positive way that's empowering to folks. So as you can see from the graphic, went a little retro with it and back to the basics. So the name of it is Sex and COVID-19, You Are Your Safest Partner. And that's true right now. We are our safest partners, and it's a great opportunity to get creative and have fun with technology, with video chatting, with toys, and really explore your sexuality with your partners. And it could be really a liberating experience. So after ourselves being our safest partner, the next safest partner to have sex with would be someone who you live with and someone who's in your household. And then if you do have sex with someone outside of your household, then we recommend to try to limit the number of partners just to have safer sex. And then of course we always touch on traditional harm reduction methods like condoms and PrEP and PEP, which are super important. A lot of people don't know that there's actually a pill that will prevent HIV. It's 99% effective if you take it every day. And also we have a pill that will prevent HIV post-exposure. So similar to a morning after pill for pregnancy, if we can get the medication to someone within 72 hours and they take it for 21 days, then they will not contract HIV. So super important information for people to know in case it's something that they need to access. And along with all of that information, we do have all of our numbers to call and access our PrEP navigators. If you're interested or you think you're a good candidate for PrEP, for our appointment hotlines. And someone from our team is actually going to put those numbers on the chat. So if anyone does need those numbers, then they'll be there for them.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, I think that sends a clear message. Your hands are your best friend right now, everybody out there. And if you need any other assistance to do it safely, then the center is here for you. So I like that message. That's nice and clear.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So Paul, tell me a little bit about the other services that your team provides and sort of how you have pivoted and sort of continued to provide those services during this time, because I'm sure it's challenging right now with social distancing.
Yeah, there's definitely been challenges, and the amazing thing that I can say is that we have been open this whole time for the community. We're here for people's sexual health needs as far as testing, as far as PrEP goes. So we've structured it in a safe way where we're public distancing and making sure that that we're staggering staff, so it's safe for clients and staff as well. Little kind of a change in our outreach and community engagement. We live in LA, the city of events. So before this, we were at 4 or 5 events a week. And that's really kind of what took our time. We were able to pivot and move all of our programs to virtual and online platforms. And engagement right now is important more than ever. So we've had a lot of great success with those virtual and online engagements. As well as we actually set up a table right outside of our clinic in West Hollywood, and we distribute safe sex kits, and we distribute resource packages, resource packets that have housing, food, anything you can really think of in the city here for people who are in need.
Yeah, I actually saw one of the other graphics that I love from this campaign was your jazzy safe sex menu kits, and we're going to pop those up for you. I thought this was a really great graphic as well. So there's all kinds of different packages people can come and collect. So is this an example of the type of packages that people can come and pick up from you and your team?
Yes. So so anyone can pick up any of these safe sex kits at any of our locations right now, here in Hollywood, West Hollywood, our South LA location, pretty much anywhere you go, we're going to have them accessible for folks. And this was another creative way. It's a challenging time, but I took it as an opportunity to get creative and really think outside of the box and really see different things that may work. And so this menu was created in a safe way to distribute these kits, and a fun way also. So very inclusive of any type of sex that anyone's going to have. So we have external condoms, internal condoms, and lubricants, all different kinds of lubricants. And so anyone can pick those up here in front of the center or any of our locations. But so many things being shut down right now that traditionally give out condoms, bars, maybe other organizations. A lot of those are not doing that right now. So it's actually really important that we still have those for folks to come and access. And the response has been super positive. Everyone is so appreciative that we are there for them when times it could be, the most challenging. So.
Absolutely. And I think even if folks were wanting to go to stores to buy those types of things, that can also be tricky for people going into a crowded store. Knowing that they can come and pick up a prepackaged kit and be on their way nice and quickly, I think is super important and really, really rad.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And lots of people who can afford, to buy those. So having them accessible for no cost is also very important for those folks who don't have the access to buying condoms and those type of sex products.
Yeah, absolutely. Super, super valid point. Excellent. Well, Paul, thank you for coming and chatting with us tonight. We so appreciate it. If folks are interested in finding out some more information about the services that SHIP provides, our moderators will pop some links in the chat. I can see that your outreach team has already done that as well, Paul, so they're on it. But thank you for coming and chatting to us. Everybody, make sure you use your hands first and foremost, and then if not, pop over and see Paul's team to pick up some of those safe sex kits. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Good talking with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much to Paul Chavez for coming and chatting to us. That was super fun and super important. It's really, really, really important that we talk about sex in a really positive and open way and create that dialogue with our entire community. And I think it's also a really good example of the type of services that the center continues to provide throughout COVID. And it's your donations and your support financially that allows us to keep doing that and provide those free kits for people to make sure they're staying safe. Now, for next week's show, we have a very special guest on as well. We have Alok coming on the program. They are an activist and author. I'm sure a lot of you know who they are. They're going to be promoting their new book, Beyond the Gender Binary. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm extra excited for that one as well. Of course, coming up next, we've still got our conversation with Leo Baker. We've got our pep parade. We've got our cheers to you. So don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we of course have our pep parade. It is our 80s glam theme this week. So there's some pretty rock and roll outfits in there. I want to remind you all that you folks at home watching get to choose the pep parade theme. So make sure you get busy in that chat and you pop some suggestions in there. Our moderators are going to let me know what we end up deciding on. But let us know what you would like to see pets dressed up as, and it happens. It's that magical. So pop your suggestions in the chat. And in the meantime, enjoy our very 80s glam pep parade. Ooh, wasn't that a good one? Excellent. Love those 80s vibes. We also are continuing the 80s vibes a little bit later as well. Our resident beverage director, Megan Graham, got a little bit 80s glam for you as well. So you're welcome. Now, if you would like to submit your pet for the pet parade, or you want to engage with us and tell us what you love about the show, then please join our Facebook group. It's a community page, so just search for Centertainment on Facebook and you'll be able to see it. Coming up next, though, we of course have our queer quiz. Now, for our queer quiz this week, we're going to do Guess That Pride Flag. We're going to have a little commercial for our community coffee hour in the middle. And then we've got a special extra segment for you before we have our live Q&A with Leo Baker. Now, remember, if you have chats and questions for them, drop them in the Twitch chat. Our moderators will shoot them through and we'll be able to ask him those questions. So coming up next, our queer quiz.
Join Generation Forward for our next Care Fund Community Coffee Hour. On May 23rd at 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll be joined by experts from our policy team to discuss the CARES Act, recent victories for LGBT rights, and more. RSVP at lalgbtcenter.org/policy roundtable.
How did y'all go? Did you guess it? The gender fluid flag, yeah! So rad. I am sad that I won't be seeing any of those flying in person this June, this Pride Month. RIP Pride. But it's all right. I'm sure there's gonna be some fun virtual parties and stuff for us all going on. I sure hope so. Now, our little special segment tonight we wanted to share with you is a little throwback to May 17th, which was International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, Intraphobia, and Transphobia. And obviously a very, very important day. And the lovely Ariel Bustamante from our RISE program did a segment with NYX Cosmetics. So NYX Cosmetics, incredible supporter of the center, they partnered with us to do a little educational campaign about homophobia and transphobia and biphobia. So Ariel did a fantastic little series of videos for them. There is more information and up on the NYX Cosmetics Instagram. So if you're interested in getting hold of any of these slides, feel free to pop over there. I was definitely inspired tonight by the NYX Cosmetics page. I did a little bit of a jazzy eyeshadow for you all, so you're welcome. But I'm going to throw it over to Ariel now, and she's going to talk a little bit about that very important day and some really excellent information.
Thanks for joining me on International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. Homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia, otherwise known as anti-gay bias and anti-transgender bias, are a set of negative attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that are oftentimes based on misinformation and assumptions. We usually think of this thing as something more overt, like calling somebody names or using slurs. But it can also show up in more covert ways, like assuming somebody's pronouns or not using inclusive language. Anti-gay bias, oftentimes referred to as homophobia and biphobia, is hatred of, aversion to, or discrimination towards people who are LGBT or lesbian, gay, and bisexual, people perceived to be, or those associated with LGBT people. More subtle ways we might communicate this bias is by assuming the gender of somebody's partner, by not recognizing the existence or contributions of LGBT people, or by assuming that there's one specific way to look or be LGBT. An all too common biphobic misconception is simply that being bisexual isn't a real identity, or that it doesn't exist. Pro tip, it is. Anti-transgender bias, also referred to as transphobia, is hatred of, aversion to, or discrimination towards people who are transgender, people who are perceived to be transgender, or those who are associated with transgender folks. This may happen more subtly in the ways that we regulate somebody else's gender identity or gender expression. What's all too common is when we misgender somebody, or when we refer to them by the name or pronouns that they don't go by. Worry not, because we have a few tips to help you be a better ally and challenge homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia all year long. First, you can use gender-neutral and inclusive language, like, "Is that your bae?" Number 2, use appropriate pronouns. And if you don't have that information, use their name or they, them, and theirs until you do. For example, "Can you show them how to contour?" Number 3, learn about current terminology and reflect the words that an LGBT person uses to describe them. Remember, just because one LGBTQ plus person uses a word doesn't mean all LGBTQ plus people do. Number 4, do self-awareness checks to see where you may have negative biases to unlearn. We all have biases. What matters is how you address them. And if you do make a mistake, which we all do, learn from it, be receptive to feedback, and move on. Remember, it's not the job of an LGBTQ plus person to always be educating you. If you have more questions, be sure to DM the NYX Cosmetics Instagram account or send us an email at rise, that's RISE, at LALGBTcenter.org.
Wasn't that a great little video? Now, Ariel is one of the wonderful people from the center that goes out and provides training and education for different organizations, schools, corporations, businesses. So if you feel like that type of education is something that you would like to share with your workplace or your school or your community group, then hit her up at that email address that she said, and we can make it happen. She's got a lot of knowledge to give. Now, coming up next, we have the incredible Leo Baker on the show. Now, Leo is a pro skateboarder and activist. I'm sure he needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. 7 times X Games medalist. He won his first gold medal, or first medal at the X Games at 13 years old. I'm pretty sure all I was doing when I was 13 was picking my nose, but you know, way to overachieve. One of the most iconic skateboarders in the world, and absolutely somebody who is forging a path for queer people and cis women in skateboarding. We're going to give you a little intro to Leo and the type of work that they do in this really fantastic video put together by Nike.
For people to really recognize how pure and sweet it really is to be accepted for exactly who you are. In skateboarding, there are a lot of people who are still pretty homophobic, I'd say. Sometimes it's just because they're just like ignorant, like they don't know any better. That's what inspired me to create NYCSP. I wanted to create an intentional space for gender non-conforming, trans folks, non-binary folks, and cis women who skate. A majority of the time, women and queers don't feel safe in skate spaces, so we create our own. Now is the time to create, and now is the time to share, and now is the time to get the community together, make the future be whatever we want it to be. My name is Leo Baker, and I'm a pro skater. For a short period of time, I was in foster care. My 2 foster brothers had a mini ramp, and they would skate it all the time. And I remember I would just stand out there and like watch them skate it right away without hesitation. I was like, I want a skateboard. They're like, are you sure that's what you want? And I was like, yeah. As I've gotten older, I've discovered a lot about myself being like queer and gender non-conforming, and I know there's a lot of people who have that same experience. The only times I can ever really think back to what it felt like to be rejected was more like coming from the skate industry. Having sponsors that wanted me to like dress more feminine and not being able to get a sponsorship because I'm not feminine enough. Just sitting there and hearing like all this misogynistic language and like homophobic language. Experiencing hanging out with people who like don't talk like that and actually like respect each other, it like opened my eyes. That's kind of the purpose of NYCSP. I want it to be everyone's. Have everyone come in and be empowered to create and to like give their input. That way it can just expand into something that is like way beyond what I could ever imagine.
Everything that Lacey is doing is fearless.
We're all coming together and it's just unity.
It's needed for people, queers, to feel like they can be themselves and not, be scrutinized by other people.
There's going to be the clinics and the zine workshop and the poetry workshop. I'm like blown away right now at what's happening.
We live in a society where people are afraid of being themselves just simply because it's not actually ever encouraged to be any other way.
Just being able to see other queer skateboarders being authentic and being themselves makes me want to be more authentic.
It's a way to have fun in a kind of like world that we're living in.
I walked in and I was like, these are my people.
It's all love in there.
It feels really good to be a part of something so brand new in skateboarding. And this is just the beginning.
The future is a true community.
Future is freedom.
Future is genderless, boundaryless, and fearless.
Future, honestly, is self-expression in the most accepting way.
The future is in the air.
Welcome, Leo.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
We are so thrilled to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for making the time.
Of course.
Now, tell me a little more about this project, the Ny Seascape Project. It looks incredible. So give me more info on it.
Yeah, so I started the Ny Seascape Project, aka NYCSP, just because I wanted to connect with people that are on my level, whether they're like, I don't know, any like marginalized sort of experience, like a queer skater or trans, non-binary, also women, and just kind of like give a space for that. And it's kind of just like a no bro zone, which is like an easy way to put it. But yeah, I just felt like, I was in New York and I had just moved there and I was skating and just seeing a lot of people, like the skate community is extremely diverse in New York. And I was just seeing a lot of people around that I like wanted to be connected with. And
yeah,
I mean, from there, it just kind of sort of unfolded. I decided to start this project and I just started to reach out to people. A huge key player for me in that is Kristen Ebeling, who is the director of Skate Like a Girl in Seattle. And she just like got right on board and helped me, do the infrastructure of like creating skate clinics and then planning out the scheduling and just putting all the pieces together because I don't know, she has a lot of experience around that. So that was awesome. And then just anybody that I hit up about it, I just like sort of did like a word of mouth kind of thing. Like, hey, I'm doing this event, like whatever. And the first one was just super magical. Like it was just like a bunch of queer people and like women skaters in a space. And I had an art show at the first one it was featuring Jeff Chung from Unity. So all of his art was all over the place. And we had like skate clinics all day and just people were just really excited. And then by the time the art show came around, everybody was just like hanging out and having a good time. And it just felt like I was like in a cloud of like love because people were just so stoked to be there, like, and that's what I wanted. Like, I want to skate with people that I can like relate to on another level, not just like the skate level. And that's it. You know what I mean?
I think that there's a certain kind of magic that comes in those intentional spaces that just feels so, so incredible. And I think that it's easy to say that, it's easy to kind of, for other folks to argue like, well, this is an open space, anyone can skate here, or, something like that. But I'm sure like the magic you're talking about, I felt that when I've been in purpose queer spaces, purpose women spaces, and there's nothing that quite compares to that feeling of inclusiveness. So yeah, it's a special kind of magic, that's for sure.
Yeah, I fully agree. And just like the way people were so willing to just like help out and just get on board to like create like I was just like, I'm doing a thing and people were just like lined up ready to help out. And so that's another key part of NYCSP for me is like I just wanted to create something, but everybody can dip their hand in the pot and make it be what they want it to be, because I really truly want it to just be like a community space. Anybody can give input, anyone can have an idea to create something. So we've had like tons of different sort of events. Like at the first one, we just had like art show and bands play. And then we had one with like a poetry workshop and a zine making workshop. And they always have like skate clinics and like free skate. So like that's like the key part. But we want to like maybe start a book club or like, I don't know. There's just so many different things we could do with it. And like the fact that anybody can have a say in it really, I think makes it special. You know, it's not just like I'm, you know, like doing this and you have to do what I say.
Yeah.
It's just like anyone can, I'm just like, take it.
Yeah.
Or it's like whoever, you know?
Absolutely. And I think like that's also what's really wonderful is like when you have those truly collaborative spaces, you get so much more cool stuff. Like it sort of opens the doors way wide, which is really, really rad. Definitely a cool feeling.
I fully agree. Yeah. It's like it's awesome to watch it like blossom, like things beyond my imagination, you know? People have great ideas and it's cool to create a space for that. So that's the goal.
Awesome. So if folks are interested in supporting that project and helping you keep that ongoing, how can they show their support to you?
Number one, I would give the Ny Seascape Project a follow on Instagram. And at this moment, I'm on the Dazed 100 list, and they're gonna give grants to people who get like a lot of votes. So if people are out there watching, please go to Dazed and vote for me, and so I can get this grant for NYCSP, because it's really gonna really help out a lot if we get that grant. So I'll be really excited. But yeah, so that's one of the ways too, for sure. And then just keeping an eye on it, the Instagram, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, our moderator is going to pop that link in the chat for people, so please go and vote for that project. You know, Leo is showing his support by being on the show with us tonight at the center, so please make sure you give that love back and throw them a vote on that day's project. Now, there's been like very few sort of out queer people in skateboarding, in this, you know, skateboarding spotlight. And I think you're one of the very few, or if only, out trans skater, pro skater. Did you sort of feel like activism was something that you always wanted to do and sort of called to you? Or do you sort of feel like it's been just kind of a necessary process for you to exist as yourself in this space?
Yeah, I think that my existence as a trans person, just in skateboarding, but also the world at large, is automatically makes me political in some way, just because of my views and my experience. And so I really like want to do my best to take a stand for the people that I care about, you know? And it's like the NYCSP community, but it's also just beyond that. It's just like women and queer people and people of color, just like all over the world. And like, I'm by no means like the most educated on everything. Like I just want to openly support and like do my research and just figure stuff out like the best way that I know how. And also just like my main work happens within the skate industry, where I'm just sort of like, you know, it's kind of like an uphill battle when I'm dealing with the sort of like gatekeepers, if you will, of the skate industry, because like while it's becoming more inclusive, it's still run by mostly cis white men. And so that's a huge challenge to overcome. And, you know, it's like something I'm constantly facing, and like people that are, you know, like Kristen Ebling is a huge advocate for the same community of people that I am. Also, Alex White is another huge person in that. So yeah, we're all just kind of like really trying to like carve out that path, you know, and like be like get a seat at the table so we can create these spaces for us in the future. So that's like mainly where my work lies. And I guess like I've never been like, I'm an activist, but people think of me in that way. So I guess in some way I am. And it, you know, I feel good about just taking responsibility for something, because I have a platform and I really want to use it for the people I care about. And like, I want to be the person I needed when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that, you know, create like steps like creating those intentional spaces are absolutely such a powerful tool to be able to kind of reach your audience and give them spaces to feel good and safe in what they're doing as well. So it's a great type of activism because it's very active. You're literally making space for those people, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's like NYCSP is really special to me too, because a bunch of skaters who are like all inherently super creative and weird just because they skate, you know, it's just kind of like comes with the territory. And it's a space where we like come together and just like be super creative all day and like hang out and like just be open and safe. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I just really want there to be another NYCSP, but like COVID is happening right now. So it's going to be, I need that. I need it.
Yeah, I can see how much your face lights up when you talk about it. So it's obviously a really special space. So I love that. Now, professional skateboarding, because it's a relatively young sport, like 2020 was going to be the first year it was going to be in the Olympics. I think people, and especially because it's kind of Californian born, like people always think it's quite a progressive community. But your experience that you sort of, you know, mentioned a little bit of has been a little different to that. You've sort of experienced a lot of homophobia and transphobia within the industry. What sort of initiatives do you think are necessary to really kind of create the type of equality that you're chipping away at in the skateboarding community?
Yeah. So one of the things I think would be really powerful, like as people start to do grassroots stuff like NYCSP, for example, or like Skate Like a Girl, and there's like a ton of other like groups of skaters like sort of coming together. I think like that's a huge thing. But then the next step I feel like would be to start creating allies in the skate industry, because I know there's a lot of people just like in skating in general, like not even necessarily the industry, but like people who ride skateboards who are like down to like be supportive, but maybe just like don't know how. And obviously it's like we want to just be like, go Google it or whatever, you know, because it's like not that hard. But I think it would be like really awesome to see like maybe like a workshop, or like I want to maybe do like an NYCSP zine where it's like 3 steps to be an ally or something, and just pass them out like at the skate park, just to like get that word out there in skating and get people comfortable with it. Because I think people just don't know right now how to be an ally, and like I'm not making excuses for them, but at the same time it's like they're just really not exposed to our community and maybe don't know that much. So yeah, creating allies I think is going to be good, and then just getting seats at the table in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for a lot of folks, people don't understand that, you know, that simply being a part of the system of oppression and not, you know, maybe not necessarily using homophobic or transphobic slurs doesn't mean that they're a part of an oppressive system. And I think education is definitely always a good first step there for sure. And I think that, you know, that has to come from people they trust within the community as well. So I can understand the need for that to come from people who are skaters.
Yeah, for sure. And I do understand too, like it's vulnerable when you're like, you want to ask somebody a question about like what, you know, and you don't want to be offensive. So like, I've been in that position is what I'm trying to say. And it's just like people, I think on both sides need to just be okay with being vulnerable. Like people are just going to like make mistakes. And like, I think if there's just a level of open-mindedness on both ends, things will be a little easier. Not like, oh, he said a gay slur and now I'm mad and now that's just the war is going to continue. You know what I mean? Like it just needs to be like, it's just going to take a lot of like massaging, I think, which is hard. And it's like a huge responsibility to take on. Like I hear people use, you know, homophobic language at the skate park all the time, and or like misogynistic language. And it really bothers me, but I don't then step, like not all the time, you know, I don't always be like, whatever. It's hard to speak out in that moment. But if we were to create a space where it's like, okay, this is a safe space to ask questions and like learn stuff about the people that you want to support, I think that would obviously be a great first step.
Yeah. Well, I hope there's some other folks besides you that take those steps, that have platforms that can educate. I hope that they get on board and create some action for sure.
Me too.
Now, what is one thing that you'd like to share with our audiences about Leah Baker that they don't know already? What's something left field that you can share with our folks watching?
Well, I just got a Frenchie. His name is Carlos, and he's really, really cute, and I'm really obsessed with training him. So that's one of my favorite things. Also, I mean, I've been staying upstate skating quarantine skating, which has been fun.
Yeah.
I want to like buy a house soon. I've been listening to like investor podcasts lately, like kind of nerding out about that.
Damn. That's like legit adult stuff. You got a dog, you're buying a house.
Yeah, I'm trying to do all that stuff, and also, I mean, let's see what else has been going on. I mean, I don't know. I meditate daily, which has been a total game changer. Yeah, just trying to keep on the mental health. Oh, and another fun thing is the center is in LA is where I first started therapy. So it's really awesome to like circle back and be on this little show with you guys tonight because, when I was like 20 years old, like I just didn't know what the heck I was doing and I like needed help and that's where I went. So I
love that.
Say I appreciate, everything you guys do.
Right back at you. So that's super rad. It's really always mind blowing to me when I'm, producing this show and just in general through this job, I get to meet so many amazing people, and it is mind blowing to me how many people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a client of the center. Like that's where I got this help or where I got this support." Or it's really the reach of the center services is pretty outstanding. So I love that. Yeah. Now, to finish, I wanted to ask, where is your favorite place to skate in the whole world? Like, if you could teleport, no COVID, just you and your skateboard, where would you go?
I would 1000% go to Spain. There is street skating like no other in Spain. Like the spots, like the architecture is like super unique over there, and it just makes for some pretty amazing skating. And a lot of stuff is like made out of granite, which like grinds really good. And I mean, Barcelona is like a huge skate hub, which everybody, I mean, people in skating obviously know that, but there's like other parts of Spain too that are incredible to skate that we went in. I think you showed my Gizmo video from Nike SB, there's like a bunch of footage from when I was in Spain there. I just want to like go back to those spots. And also China is amazing to skate. So that's where I would go.
That's a good choice. I've definitely heard about the skate culture in Barcelona before, for sure. I think that stretches across many skating disciplines as well, like roller skating, stuff like that too.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. They have a really cool like roller skate street culture there. Now, are you skating anywhere soon? What is the status with COVID and skateboarding competitions? Like, are you able to kind of do your thing going forward?
Well, at this moment, everything is just canceled or postponed. So I've just turned my focus inward. I've been street skating and just like working on some projects that'll be coming out this year. And in the meantime, like if I'm not skating or working on like a skate project, then I'm just hanging out, like working on music stuff or like training my dog, making dinner, grilling with Mel, my boo.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
daydreaming
I'm happy that I get to, keep skating. I feel like it's like the one thing that's going to survive because you could just go by yourself. You don't need to have an audience or a team. You're just like, I can go outside and skate.
Absolutely. Well, happy skating to you. I hope your daydreaming of Barcelona goes beautifully and your training of your Frenchie goes really well. We love pets on this show. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Leo. You've been an absolute treat. And thank you for supporting the center.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Good night.
Wait, I got the buggy.
Oh!
Hang on, we're gonna go back to Leo. He's
It's okay if it's
No, we got it. Oh, that little face. He's amazing. Oh, so tiny.
I know.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye for reals now.
Bye.
Oh, so incredible. And we got free puppy as well. Amazing. Thank you so much to Leo Baker for coming in and having that chat with us. They're doing such amazing work in their community, and we so greatly appreciate having them on the show. So that's super fun. Now, coming up next, is everyone thirsty? I am ready for a cocktail. It's nearly a long weekend. All right. We got the lovely Megan Graham, the Centre's beverage director, and she's going to be doing a little fruity tribute to little Richard this week. Sadly passed in the previous couple of weeks, but she's going to be living large for him in our Cheers to You.
Oh my God. Hello, all you glamorous people. I'm Megan Graham. I'm the beverage director of the Los Angeles LGBT Center, and I'm here to make a cocktail with you tonight. I was inspired this week by Little Richard. He was an incredibly influential musician, inspired countless artists over the course of his career: Otis Redding, Chuck Berry, Prince, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis. The list goes on and on. He was quoted as saying, "Elvis may be the king of rock and roll, but I'm the queen," which I think is pretty amazing. He challenged stereotypes of gender and sexuality and was very respected and very loved and an important member of our community. So that got me started thinking about what cocktail to make, and I thought, well, I should make something kind of tooty, definitely fruity. So I landed on the Pina Colada. With it getting warm outside, I figure what better to have on a hot summer day or a warm summer night than a nice blended rummy drink. So I had a pineapple at home that I needed to use up, so I did a couple fun things with it. To do this, you can use, if you have a canned pineapple or something like that, or frozen in your freezer, no problem. I had gotten my hands on a fresh one. And so I have it in some tequila, which this is so good. Once you start doing this, you will not go back. I have some in vodka to play around. I made a simple syrup like I've done before, equal parts sugar and hot water. Cook it a little, strain it out. So good. I've used this in a couple cocktails. It's been really fun. So the recipe I'm using is pretty simple. It's some crushed pineapple. Oh, and the rest of it I froze and, did like chunks in the freezer so that I could crush it for this drink. So I have my crushed pineapple. I started blending this a little bit already because it's so loud and I don't want to blow your eardrums out by doing that. So in my container, I've got about a cup or so of ice and then 3 tablespoons of my crushed pineapple. And then I'm using coconut milk. If you can get your hands on some of this coconut cream from your local liquor store or supermarket, this is great. Or the can of coconut cream. I'm using the milk, that's what I had at home. I did put a little of the coconut cream in there just to pump it up a little bit. So I've got 3 tablespoons of that in there. And then this recipe called for 3 ounces of rum. Like we've said, do what you want. I'm gonna do 2 because it was pretty boozy, but really good. And you can play around. You can use light rum, dark rum, a little bit of both. No rum if you want a non-alcoholic drink. I would throw a little pineapple juice in there to kind of loosen up the ice and stuff. Great summertime non-alcoholic drink. Whatever you're into. So I'm gonna blend it up. I don't have a traditional blender, so bear with me. And it was so much louder before, so you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so that's blended. I'm glad I started that beforehand. And we're gonna take it, pour it into our fun little glass. There you go. Oh, frosty goodness. And of course, we've gotta decorate because, why not, right? So there you go. Lovely, refreshing, delicious, cold pina colada. Okay, so different straw. That one's a little hard, but you get the idea. You can also double it up and do a pina colada for 2 or whatever, just saying. So fun, fruity beverage. If you're making these, take pictures, tag the Los Angeles LGBT Center, and of course, hashtag cheers to you. I'll see you next time.
Oh, who's feeling tropical? Always. That looked delicious. I'm gonna go home and blend me up one of those right after this. Thank you, Miss Megan Graham. Delicious. I want to give a big shout out to all of our incredible guests that we've had tonight. Vincent, thank you for your beautiful song. Paul Chavez from Shep, thank you for coming and talking to us about how to stay safe while we're getting down. A huge thanks, of course, to Leo Baker. What a dreamboat. Wasn't he the cutest? So rad and doing such amazing work in the community. So important. Big thanks to Miss Megan Graham, of course. Now, next week's pet theme, there was quite a bit of demand to dress your pets like me, but I feel weird, and that's a little self-indulgent. I am a very, very proud person, so I'm going to say if you want to dress it like me, that's cool, but if that feels a bit weird for you, then just dress them pride-themed, because I'm pretty much always a rainbow, and I'm pretty proud, so you can teeter on that line however you see fit. So pride-ish or Tui-ish, whatever you fancy. Either way, they should definitely have big earrings on, but don't pierce your dog's ears. Just hang them gently over their floopers. All right, now next week is actually going to be our last episode of Centertainment for a little while. We are putting together some super fun and exciting projects coming up that we're going to be streaming from the center. But next week we have the wonderful Alok coming on the show. If you don't know them, then you should. They are absolutely outstanding. They're going to be promoting their book, Beyond the Gender Binary, and they're going to be talking about their activism work. They're going to be doing a little bit of performance for us because they're also a performance artist. We also have, usually for center stage, we have our little performance at the beginning. And next week, we got something a little different for you. We're going to have the boy who cried flowers on the show, and he's going to be doing a live floral arrangement for you. So we're going to get a little different, a little artsy next week. It's going to be hella pretty. So make sure you tune in this time next week so we can see your lovely faces again. But for tonight, thank you for joining, Queer Fam. It has been a pleasure to see you in the chat. It has been absolute treat to have you watching. We love you. We miss you. Stay safe. Stay well. Mwah. Love from the center.